I can't do this 1 minute interval hogwash. I can't do it. It's too frustrating. This is my third attempt here. So the whole you know what was what was it you had said there? Excuse me. Like what's emotional intelligence? What's mine and what is someone else's responsibility? What is this energy? Is it mine? Is it theirs? Is it both of ours synergistically? Is it an inheritance of a collective ancestry acting upon us? And this really is I guess this is the school that we learn, that is to decipher it. We have to ask ourselves, honestly, what is it within someone's constitution that makes for a dramatic situation, right? What is it about an individual that makes them feed off of drama? Why is it that some are more apt to conflict of emotional kinds, whereas some are easily able to just feel and release and let it go? Um, I think we clearly know the answer, that it's because of an aberration within one's own constitution. Whatever it was, whatever that point of trauma, whatever that point of entry was, and whatever opened up there, and whatever came through that portal and attached itself, is a pretty serious thing that we have to be aware of, because it's as though it has a life of its own. It moves and thinks and wills and feels, subjugating the person's will that it's hosted onto. This naturally filters out into us, the community, the polarizing effects of these binary beings, right? How they, how they lay the subterfuge of contradiction, saying this but doing that, right? Look over here, like, but don't look over there, because I'm doing something over there that I don't want you to see, because that's my plan, is to make you think that's what's only going on over there, but there's this going on over here. And this goes into the feeling, the intelligence of emotion, knowing when somebody's, bamboozling and hoodwinking us, right? And then having the courage, right, to face it, because these are demons that this is what they do, this is how they've made it, this is how they survived. They find a host, they possess the host, and the host goes ahead and opens portals all over the damn place, thereby sucking other people into this energy vacuum. Yeah. um, I'm going to spare my my ex. I'm going to spare her, and I'm going to not further more pain and trauma. um, but what I will say is that there comes a point where noble men, noble women come together to confront these entities, these demons, or they excommunicate said individual or individuals from the community to protect the rest of the flock, right? Which is wisdom. This is a difficult lesson because it feels like, pain, right? It feels like judgment. In a sense, it is. If there is distortion, as it's been said, It's the duty of the tribe to, in the best of their ability, in the wisest capacity that they're able to operate in, address the situation. Not perfectly, of course. This isn't perfect reality. But in love, absolutely. In nobility of character, absolutely. This is where it gets tricky, I've noticed. Because our heart is betwixt in so many ways. We have a brother or a sister that we've come to know as a certain type of character, right? And depending on whatever the situation is, accusations are made, lies are cast and projected, omissions of truth abound, all many various sorts of chicanery, I believe is the word. Very subtle modalities of malevolence, passive aggressiveness, the assassin's smile, the perpetrator. There's I think it's the book of Daniel in the Bible, where God had charged the man to go and pursue his wife. She was a whore. But he wouldn't release, the God wouldn't release this one from this commitment to his wife, because it was to stand as a testimony of the faithfulness of divinity. That no matter where we think we can run, no matter what dark cloud we think we can go create with all of its various thunderings and lightnings and foreboding feelings and destruction even, that will never extinguish love. And love, right? That's another nuanced one. There's many forms of love. There's a brotherly love, there's a motherly love, a fatherly love, a sisterly love, and then there's an erotic love, and then there's something that I believe is what we call tantra, a tantric love that it supersedes it all. It's knowing that this energy doesn't belong to just me. I may or may not have a gift to generate or not generate this energy, but it still doesn't belong to just me. And that's a humbling reality. It means that nothing is ours. We can't hold on to anything. It doesn't belong to us. Truly, we see this. It's like your video that you had shared. It's like, when you feel pulled and polarized, it's like going out and soaking up the abundance of what is our creation, and allowing that to restore, recharge us. However, we have to deal very honestly, sometimes very brutally, very forcefully, with much violence of spirit, these situations that we are confronted with. And this gets tricky because we certainly don't want to come across as a violent being, but it's a part of our makeup. It's a tool set there as a guardian, the Martian energy, young Ram, the protector. But it needs guidance, otherwise it just destroys everything. This then goes into the dispositional character of an individual and their upbringing and their various trials and tribulations of life, and if they've ever taken a break, to reassess and come back, or if they just carried headlong into sociopathy, essentially having a coldness then come over them for the things that they do and don't do to get over, get under, and get even, thinking it's all justified, right? You know, making every self-righteous assessment, all while disregarding the greater community, disregarding the needs of the flower that doesn't grow up with lots of wind and rain, not right away. How do we protect it? How do we keep it safe? This goes into even our own states of consciousness and the seeds that we have planted within our own selves. How is one to cultivate this emotional intelligence when there's multitudes of distortions that never end from individuals who have no other intelligence but to continue on in the distortion, perpetuating it ad infinitum because it's how they survived? And then the compassion for that person, like, how much compassion does one have to really pull that person out of that destructive pattern? Especially with one's propensity to not trust, with one's propensity to always feel like everyone's out to get them, instead of just humbling themselves and seeing the fastest way to win is to surrender. Surrender the pain, surrender it to the heart of the Divine Mother, of the Divine Father, in all of their multitudes of mercy, which is us. We are them. And all the wrath, like the betrayal that comes, the justified rage of being used and misused just to further one's own agenda. Like, there comes a point where cancer exists, and if one is to save and protect themselves and the rest of their organs and bodies, they have to cut that off. And that's violent. That's not fun. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. It hurts both parties, the surgeon and the person, the amputee. And then that whole consciousness of having to deal with, like, the guilt, you know, because these are familiars. These are spirits. These are entities that set out against the mind and the heart to constantly make one feel as if their actions are unjustified, especially if they have an audience that they've been able to snow. They've been able to snow them in, and they can't see and feel anything else except the narrative that they're giving them, which, for what it is, I mean, it's allowed to exist. You know, it's a part of the whole school of emotional intelligence and the pains that we face each time they come around, or how quickly the pains that we face are abated, right? How quickly can we just let go, right? Do we have that compassion to just let go? Like, no, like, this is it's not worth the destruction anymore. It's not worth the destruction. I have to protect, we have to protect what is sacred in our hearts, first and foremost. And then we can begin to have a conversation, or maybe even a counselship, of how to rehabilitate the one who had to survive, because we can't just leave them out, can we? Take a person who never knew a family, and all they knew was pain and anger and all of those things. Like, that's all they knew. Can we blame them for having to turn, in a sense, to having to have to allow that sickness to be a part of them just to survive? They just want to live, you know? They don't want to be hurt either. That's what's so painful sometimes, because two wrongs can't continue on. Two aberrations will not bring health. It can't. And it's really nuanced. It's really difficult at times to assess when do we cut this off and when don't we. You know, considering one's depravity, considering what one has experienced. Like, do we surround them in love? Do we allow them to continue, but quarantine them in a sense? Or is it too far gone, right? Do they have to go back out and loop again? Do they have to go back out there into the abyss and loop again? So I'm basically reading my mail with my ex. You know, we can solve so many issues with just honesty. And the fact that someone wasn't given that opportunity to be honest and to confess and to just lay it bare, it still doesn't, they don't escape it. They still can't escape it. It's not a valid enough excuse. Yes, we can have compassion and mercy for it, but we can't allow it to continue on. Not if we really care for ourselves. Not if we really love ourselves. We can't allow it. It's quite the life. It's easy on the mountain. It's easy when there's sunshine. It's easy to love. It's easy to want to do right by each other. What if there's like a 3-year-long storm? What if there's like a 10-year darkness? A great darkness? How many people are gonna make it through that if they haven't been taught how? Where are our teachers? The adults don't know more than the children. What's gonna happen? This is nuanced. It's nuanced because lines have to be drawn. Things cannot continue on as business as usual. And it's this burden, this privilege to carry this burden. It can drive people crazy. It like really these spirits, they know no end to their depravity. It's a nihilistic view of life, which says basically that nothing that I do matters, everything is meaningless, and there really is no good. There's really no real love in this world. Everybody is just out for themselves. That's a nihilistic view, in essence. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous because then nothing that we do matters. You could do anything, live how you want. Ignore that pain in your heart. Ignore that pain in your soul. Ignore that Holy Spirit telling you stop. Ignore the people, the mouthpieces warning you of your destruction. Is it because they take joy in correcting their family? Do you think a parent enjoys correcting their child with whippings? Maybe. I mean, if that was what you were handed, I can see. You know, the fire beings, the melanin recessive beings, more so. I can attest to that. Because I'm half of that. Mean fucking Germans, dude. Mean. It's part of their nature. They need cold. And that's not like judging anybody. It's just like dispositions. Like, it's just, these are just realities, right? This isn't, it's a very serious game. It is. But it's a game, nevertheless. Because we wake up. We no longer have to stay stuck. We can decide just one day, like, I'm not going to live this way no more. I'm not going to feel like this no more. And from that moment on, it's like the cords of love come back and engraft the branch back onto the vine. Like, as you can see, I'm rather wide open. This has been a hellacious fight. And what is needed now for me is to rest and to rest. Tomorrow is another day. Brand new grace, brand new mercy. Also with brand new condemnations, brand new admonishments, brand new surgeries. And then the organization of how that's all going to happen. The who, what, when, and where of it all. What, metaphysically. Yeah, brother, I'll definitely go in on this build with you. This stuff, carry it lightly, my brother. Carry it very lightly. It's not ours. It will crush us if we carry that weight. I can attest to that. Do not allow someone to make you feel as though your actions, or lack thereof, can be used as a weapon against you for their actions and lack thereof, right? Send you blessings, brother. On this